Hello, Mkrtich Tonoyan in Jerewan. You are also partner in our Media Dialogue project, the Armenian partner with special experiences with war situations in 2022 in the attack of Turkish and Azerbaijan forces against Berg-Karabach. That was also a part of Media Dialogue project in 2020 to discuss this whole content and the problems and propaganda issues and so on. And now, Mkrtich Tonoyan, your view on Ukraine. Today, the biggest land war after the Second World War in Europe started by a Russian aggression. How is your view from Armenia to the things happening today in Ukraine?
Hello, Dr. Wolfgang. It's really nice to get in touch again with this, and it's our main concern. Of course, we have to get in touch and discuss what's happening, what's going. It's on the radar of our interest that we usually is coming to get like new content for our project. Yeah, we talked about this a lot, actually, even in the past, how it's going to be, what direction will get development, will it come down or get another escalation or whatever. And first, it was surprising for me now, not that much, that some steps of developing we could predict. What does it mean? It means that there are some logic of development, there are some way of judging the situation that brings to some conclusion, and it works out. The main thing is, as I usually wrote you, when I have a look at this situation, is redesigning the world. So that's how I'm thinking about where it comes from, like redesigning the world, which is not really that much inspiring, of course, when we find one of the reasons why such stuff happening. It doesn't inspire us, but we face with bigger and larger geopolitical problem and also geopolitical aggression. As you know, also like what's happened in 2020 with Nagorno-Karabakh, and until now continues these periodically shootings and escalation with Armenian border. It's somehow I always connected with what's parallel to that happens in Ukraine. For instance, the escalation here in 2016, when happened, it was after Ukrainian issues. When it was in 2013, 14, and 15, they had this another escalation, and then happened here. As you know, also my opinion here, as I found here some I'll say also connection, like hidden players that can be Azerbaijan and Turkey themselves. Of course, Turkey is main player. Azerbaijan is kind of like appendix to Turkish geopolitical initiations. But anyway, they are here too. So that's in general my imagination what's happening. So I would connect all these escalation and war situation in Armenia, in Georgia, that happened in Ukraine, and this event around Lukashenko's election, and in Kazakhstan recently what happened. I would all this range connect them together, like interconnected. They all come from the same source, I can say.
Yeah, and one of the main things which made it all possible is also media propaganda, fake news, and preparing the people with wrong news about situations, about the circumstances. When you have a look at the moment in the situation in Armenia, in comparison to Ukraine, what do you think? How dangerous is this propaganda machine also for Armenia in the future, or what does that all mean for Armenia in the future in the relationship to Putin's Russia?
Oh, this is really a very, very important point of all those kind of stuff. Now, it's quite often people using different levels the term of hybrid war. So I would say that now this propaganda machine not only trying to manipulate with people's mind and bring them to some idea what they're doing or get them participative in a passive way, but anyway, we had some sympathy was doing on. It's also part of war. So it's like prelude of war, it continues parallel, and it ends up with the war ends up still this. So that's why like this media participation in such a conflict situation zone, it's part of war. It's like because if we believe that hybrid war exists, so that's first thing. Second, from Armenian viewpoint, we know on our body, of course, what does it mean from Soviet time, even when this simple like democratic movement that we started here in Armenia was labeled as like Armenian extremists, Armenian terrorists, and all this kind of stuff. But we are, and they completely giving like from Moscow news center, like Novosti, gave completely different reality that we were. It either made it like much more tough than we were, in fact, or opposite. So we know how it works and manipulate. And 90% of population in Armenia now, even they have such of distrust towards official news agencies. Until now, we can't forget this. We don't believe that maybe any official news, we don't believe, or public TV or whatever can give us like good, right situation, described situation. They all will be part of manipulation. This is a kind of like, I can say, become superstition for all of us. So we're all trying to trusting more to freelancers and or other sources. That's why maybe social medias are much more active. And I guess the situation is not only in Armenia like that. Much more people looking for alternative news in social medias, closer to gossips but unfortunately, this large media industrial, this is also part of larger media industrial development, and not always we will be able to find loyal and neutral trusty news in social media as well, because the algorithm, how it works there, it's also it's like these robots, they don't choose which is true to disseminate. It works another way, who has more followers, who has more likes, and then they come over. So this is the third point. And the fourth point is really in such a meeting that we are organizing this last 5-6 years is for what? That people from media field who has concern about what's happening in this media industry when it become more and more like corrupted because of some influence, and as a like professional of this field, so how we can also somehow to get another alternative links to get more or less like trustly information from other country, from neighbor country, from partners. And to this, because media freedom, as we talked about a lot of this, like in the real media freedom, makes sense to develop as like really main tool of building democratic situation when it tells truth. If it just produces like fake news or someone's viewpoint or whatever, then it doesn't make sense. It is not tool for democratic. This is tool for manipulation. It doesn't really serve for what it is made for what we were voting for. So that's my main like short judging and analyzing this situation.
And my fear from the German or Western European view that a new Cold War is standing and which is much more worse than the Cold War has been in the past, because war was not an option, not a real option in the past, in the first Cold War, let's say it in this way. No, it is an option, and I think this is a big threat for all European countries, that Putin went over this red line. And what do you think? What do you think? What can be done from Armenian side for Ukraine, and what does that mean for Armenia in the middle term future?
This is important question that always it raises on my mind, actually, when you know, like everything sometimes takes doesn't happen at the same time. Like, I mean, war in Armenia and then later in Ukraine. I was thinking about like how we can find technologies of this showing solidarity towards the other country, but because if it is big game, you can't really do that much to help, to support, especially if you are not in this game. How you don't know how to appear. And we saw many other like big countries with bigger influence, with a stronger geopolitical field that they had and influence, that were trying to not bring to this escalation, finding more diplomatic solution, and those all failed. The only thing that we can do is more like moral, like moral support of our colleagues and people of Ukraine, that what's happening. At the meantime, also maybe because something is visible from Armenia, probably that will try to open their eye towards this too, that like I don't think it will help them in this sense if somehow, for instance, I prove my colleagues that there is connection between war in Karabakh and war in Ukraine at the moment running, that this was preparation stage here and now they're doing real thing. And this preparation stage, Ukrainian government was supporting Azerbaijan, in fact. So this is like hard for me now to really find connection with this and tell another viewpoint towards the same problem. But of course, what we're looking at this, we look as like all citizens of former Soviet Union countries. What's happened with the collapsing Soviet Union, like socialistic republics of Soviet who were kind of like colonized, had chance to be a free country with their own sovereignty and independence, and we got it. And such a thing, such events, is kind of aggression against this independence. And in this situation, if I put myself in the part of Ukraine, I would say, okay, what does it mean? If I want to make a decision as an independent country, and then there another like stronger country thinks that I don't have right to have this like to make own independent decision and get attacked for that. Of course, this is no good. This can happen to everyone. So we have to understand the real situation, and the moral and political and any kind of support to do each other, like to keep such a case. Many things we saw that in the world is temporarily, and that this situation also will be we can overcome, and we will overcome only that time when we understand it as early as possible what's happening, and get united, and try to like how say this, like press this evil, I can say, or this growing monster from the beginning. Otherwise, later it's all we will get anyway situation back after all this stuff. But it always takes time. It takes human lives. It takes many broken destinies and fates of human beings. So it's
Yeah.
so yeah, we need to understand this. So that's why maybe as a like a kind of like some people, they have to maybe get more information or using their deductive thinking or whatever to see and find out more than official news, like give us as a like feed us with. So we need to see this all underlines. Otherwise, we can't predict what's happening.
Yeah, really, those were great words, and I think knowing that Putin's Russia is running running in a really in blood and in dead bodies, it's a human catastrophe too. What is happening when war is again an instrument of politics in Europe? And I think in this kind, Mkrtich, thank you very much for your statement. And we are in touch. We will have several other online meetings together with the new Europeans too in the next day during in this hard times. And so we are in touch. And I think it's so important for our continent, for our life, for our peaceful democratic future in whole Europe, that we have to discuss and we have a look and we have to fight and we have to resist. And so thank you very much to Jerewan.
Thank you very much too for sharing this concern. In this sense, we are of course in the same team, and yeah, that's very important. We have to our best, our part of responsibility as like to share also social responsibility with our colleagues in our continent. We have so much common, and we have so much nice stuff to share, like cultural masterpieces or whatever. And when you have such a good side and going to dark part of power, it's not, of course, it's not our decision, it's not our choice. We have to show resistance. I completely agree with you, and in that sense, I'm in avant-garde. Yeah, that's true. With my friends here.